She knew it was unprofessional, although not her actual client. John was the son. This was the first time Anita had met him, as he entered halfway through her home visit with his elderly mother. From that point onwards, Anita had found it more and more difficult to concentrate on her work, although John sat quietly alongside his mother on the couch. It was his roaming eyes and appreciative smiles that she began to enjoy way more than she should in this situation. Anita had dressed demurely. A tight, white blouse, teamed with a similarly colored pencil skirt to below her knees, being of slight Asian build. The tight-fitting outfit suited her well, without being revealing in any way. Not that she had much to display. Her small tits that didn't even require a bra, and tiny hips, with a late-20s face that belied her actual age of 41. Twinkling eyes, a cute button nose, medium-length straight black hair, and a petite figure. Anita knew she definitely wasn't unattractive. John was quite the opposite. In his early 30s, he had short blonde hair, was much taller than her and very muscular, and also owns a security company. Even before he had started checking her out, Anita had found him extremely attractive and was now starting to feel physically hot as the sexual tension between them blossomed. Smiling back at John while still engaging professionally with his mother, she was intrigued as to John's latest look of surprise. Although knowing her white blouse was quite fitting, Anita knew the shape of her tiny tits could barely bend through it. Sneaking a look downwards during a break in conversation, Anita gasped, as her oversized nipples were so hard they were almost poking through the tight fabric. With her arousal on full display, she could see why she had given John a most pleasant but unexpected surprise. Fortunately, his elderly mother was completely unaware of the ever-increasing sexual tension between Anita and her son that had grown so strong as to be almost palpable. After wrapping up her session, both John and his mother walked with Anita to the car park. After some final instructions and farewell to her elderly client, Anita turned to leave. She brushed firmly over the large bulge in the front of John's trousers as she squeezed past him out the front door. Giving him a sneaky wink while waving to them both, Anita climbed into her car, her heart aflutter after physically feeling the effect she had on John. She had barely managed to maintain her professionalism with his mother during her consultation, but Anita knew beyond a doubt that she had to see John again soon, but next time just the two of them. While driving back to town, she couldn't get John out of her mind. For the first time in many years, she found her body responding to the fact that a man desired her. She couldn't stop thinking about how big and muscular he was. It's the type of masculine hunk to whom she would love to submit full control of her little Asian body. A shudder ran through her body as while she drove, her mind began to explore erotic possibilities with him. While still driving back to town, Anita spotted the entrance to a driver's rest area and quickly swung off the road into it. Parking right down the end, a quick scan revealed no other people nor cars in sight. Anita undid her seatbelt with fumbling fingers, immediately reaching down to pull off her sodden black panties. She needed John to tease her over and over again, without allowing her to come. Hiking up her skirt, Anita spread her legs wide, her feet pressed into the bottom corners of her windscreen to give best access between her thighs. She so badly wanted John's face buried there, licking her clit sensuously while his strong, thick fingers pummeled her tight, needy pussy hole. Despite having a strong personality and being fiercely intelligent, the dark secret Anita hid from the world was that she desperately desired her whole sexuality be controlled and dominated by a well-muscled man. And John fitted her erotic fantasies absolutely perfectly. She wanted to be his good girl, for him to own her, control her pleasure, and most of all right now to bang her. Anita gasped as she pleasures herself and imagined that she was lying on top of him, humping him under her sweaty tiny body, leaving her struggling to breathe as he thrust his cock harshly into her tiny, tight slit, grasping harshly at her tits and digging her fingernails into her now red tit flesh. Anita edged herself over and over again to the very brink of orgasm, knowing that's the control he would have over her. Knowing that John would want to punish her with endless banging just so he could make her beg for final release. This act of submission finally granted her brain permission to release her own pleasure. And Anita knew there was no possibility of halting the orgasm that ripped through her body like an oncoming freight train. Her pussy squirting its sweetness wantonly over the dash of the car again and again, as overwhelming pleasure relentlessly rumbled and rocked her petite frame. When her multi-orgasmic screaming had finally subsided, she breathed, before slowly composing herself for a much more relaxing drive home. A quick check around the car still showed she was alone. Thank goodness, as she had a well-earned professional reputation to uphold. Starting the car and then dropping her eyes after checking the rear view mirror to back out. She jumped as she noticed the small security camera mounted on a pole ahead of her at the edge of the cleared area. That will be decommissioned for budget savings, thought Anita with some relief. Peering harder at the camera to verify it was indeed off, Anita gasped with a mixture of horror and arousal as next to the tiny blinking light, she noticed the logo of John's security company he owns.